Hey guys, Nathan Brendan Masters. This is the Canson Art Book 1, and this is one of my abandoned sketchbooks. It was halfway complete. I don't even think this one was halfway complete. These have a lot of pages in them. If you're a beginning artist or primarily work with ink, these books are probably one of the best values on the market. They have 98 pages, and yes, it's 67-pound paper, but it's decent enough for pen, ink, pencil, uh, color pencil, things like that. If you're drawing with that, this book should generally be fine for you. This book will even take light washes and light watercolors. And when I say light, I do mean light. I mean like one coat. All right. So, not a book you can go crazy with. But if you're sketching out little, thumbnails, little ideas and stuff like that, you may want to grab one of these 4x6 Canson Art Book 1s. They're inexpensive and they're actually pretty popular. They actually have another line of these called the 180 line, which is it's like the same books, but they have a little strap that comes over and you can, I think it's a magnetic strap, looks real cool. If I were just getting into sketchbooks, I would grab one of those. One of the reasons for abandoning this particular sketchbook was the paper. I'd found other sketchbooks with better paper. The Moleskine. There was also the Kagi sketchbook, which I told you guys about. And I believe that paper was 135 pounds. It's up there with the Stillman Burns as far as paperweight goes. Speaking of which, I also discovered Stillman Burns and Strathmore and just a lot of other papers. So with all that being said, I kind of moved away from this one as a sketchbook. You know what I think would be a big seller? If they started making Canson mixed media books, but not like the ones with the perforated pages, but like with, like one like this, but, with pages that just stay in. It's just a heavier paper. And yeah, you're going to charge, $1, $2 more for it. But I think people would buy it. People would spend more money for a heavier weight Canson mixed media book, that you don't tear the pages out. At least that's my thought. I feel the same way about Pentalic and the paper in the Nature Sketchbook. It's 135-pound paper, I believe, and it's 25% cotton. I liked that paper. I just didn't like the spiral bound sketchbook. But this is Mara. She is a member of the Sisterhood of Lilith. She doesn't have a lot of powers. She has low-level magic control, so she can do things like magic blast and shields, maybe, like a magic bomb with a small area effect. She's a friend of Night Evil, who's the leader of the Sisterhood of Lilith. She's at least friendly with Hanover. She's cool with Damius. Not so much with Ashen. She's not a friend of Blue's either. But Blue and Ashen tend to be shady, at least more shadier than the rest of the group. They're a little bit more self-serving than many of the other Sisterhood of Lilith members. So that makes sense. And if you read Epitaph, Bread and Salt, you know what Blue did to Damius. So yeah, she's not particularly a nice person. She's not in the original Epitaph, Bread and Salt book, but I'm going to try to get her in stuff, get her in the story earlier. We're doing a lot of stuff differently when I rebrand Epitaph, Bread and Salt. I'm going to bring a lot of people in earlier. Like, we didn't meet Nodis Talbane until Hexcraft Mechanics, and he's a major player in the series. We met Lauren. She's kind of the star in that story, but he has his own story, and there's some other characters around that story. So there were so many characters to introduce people to, because the original Epitaph, Bread and Salt was just supposed to open the door to all these characters. So, it was going to be this ongoing series. So I don't know exactly how we're going to work with that. Can we get the numbers for an ongoing series like that through crowdfunding? I don't know. So again, that's where Victor Locke started out. Obviously, Night Evil, Damius, Hanover, that whole cast, Ashen, Lauren, Zombie Girl, all of them were introduced in Epitaph, Bread and Salt, and the books were supposed to spread out from there. but I'm going to actually do a whole new script for Epitaph Bread and Salt. Again, it's going to be rebranded. There's going to be some changes. A lot of things are going to stay the same. A lot of things are going to happen earlier. So it's going to be interesting. And I actually have somebody in mind to draw it already. So I think it's going to be a great story. And you'll see characters like this. She's probably going to come in the second wave, but she'll at least be mentioned, like in the first wave of characters and things. For those who don't know, Epitaph Bread and Salt, the way I originally envisioned it, it was supposed to be kind of like a soap opera. So people like Victor were there, but they would only pop up every once in a while. A lot of stuff would actually take place in Victor's book, Victor Locke Demon Hunter, but a lot of the main stuff would take place in Epitaph. So all the stuff surrounding the other characters would take place there. So people like Ashen and Night Evil, Hanover, people like that would maybe pop up in the Victor Locke book or maybe in Decoy or something like that. But all the main stuff was going to happen in the Epitaph Bread and Salt book. But now I'm kind of looking at more from the point of view of, several volumes as opposed to an ongoing series. And it would be kind of like manga, where it'd be these big 90 to 100 page books, and then other books, the stories from those books spill out into other smaller books. So that's kind of the way I was looking at it at first. So, but there you go, guys. There's Mara. She's doing her power up. Now, I'm going to do the tour for this sketchbook on Friday, and it's going to be a long one. This is 98 pages. So, and it's going to be a full tour, not a part one, part two. It's going to be the whole thing. So, that's the way we're going to end the year. So you guys take it easy. Nathan Brendan Masters.
Don't look back, awesome. We're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is it, the borderline to where the future leaves us behind. The fire will burn.